I'm Dawn Brosnan, Director of Communications and Marketing for the National Museum of the Mighty 8th Air Force. The show Masters of the Air has really brought to light the stories of the 8th Air Force Airmen. This has been a process about 10 years in the making. There are a few people at the museum who were here when that happened, and they were ecstatic, to say the least, that the 8th Air Force and the 100th Bomb Group were the chosen focus of the series. The museum has been part of the process in and out with pre-production. Don Miller, who is the author and historian of the book Masters of the Air, came to the museum and did a lot of his research inside our Roger A. Freeman Research Center about the stories of the airmen of the 8th. We are inside our B-17G Flying Fortress at the museum. She has been fully restored. It took about 15 years for the restoration process, from when she was originally donated to the museum and to where she is now. Everything on this airplane actually works. So the ball turret, the top turret, the chin turret, there's lots of turrets, the flaps all work. And so they came and recorded the sounds for their Foley sounds and actual B-17 noises. Apple has been amazing. They have been a wonderful crew to work with, multiple departments and facets to help promote the series, help promote the museum, help promote the 8th Air Force, help promote the veterans. And that's been the biggest thing, is that they have been so welcoming to the very few World War II veterans who are still alive and still with us, and how active they actually are. Even at anywhere from 97 to 103 years old, they are all very spry, and they are so happy to share their stories that they didn't think that they were going to tell. And Apple has been amazing in helping promote and to celebrate them, really.
My name is Nate Mann, and I play Robert Rosie Rosenthal in the series Masters of the Air. Rosie grew up in Flatbush, Brooklyn, and became a lawyer. Started working for this law firm in Manhattan, and then right then Pearl Harbor happens. And he enlists right after December 7th, goes over and trains as a pilot, spends months and months in the States training gunners, actually, before he sees combat. And when we meet him in the series, he's new to the 100th group, but little does he know that some of his first missions are going to be some of the most devastating in 100th history. I'm still struck by Rosie's courage. You know, he was just an astonishing man who's made some just incredible choices, and at the same time was a man of just such grace and warmth, and a man that his crew really looked up to. And so being able to slip into that every day was a really rewarding experience. The cockpit is sort of just up there, and we spent hours and hours in these replica cockpits on these hydraulic rigs connected to these wraparound screens that were, just this new technology helped us bring this story to life in a way that, that we knew was going to be important. And that also meant that we were, as actors, spending so much time in these close quarters, getting to know each other, weeks at a time, shooting these scenes, trying to get the choreography right, everything down to, when to flip the switches, where to look, all that detail. It's so wonderful to work on as an actor, and to get to do it with the guys that we were able to do it with made it really exciting. Tom Hanks and Steven Spielberg, who have such a history making and putting these types of projects together, the stories of these men, are so important to them, and so important to them to get right and to do as much justice to as possible, not just to tell their stories, but to do them honor. And that made working on a show like this that much more impactful, because it felt like we weren't just making a TV show, but we were doing justice to a story and part of our nation's history. The costumes were a huge part of it. There's so much equipment these men had to put on in order to be able to simply survive the conditions 25,000 feet up in the air with metal that's not much thinner than a Coke can between you and just the air. And every day we would get strapped in and sort of like umbilically hooked up to these machines. And all of that meant that it made it an incredibly physical performance, as well as acting through the sequences. During the preparation period to shoot this series, we spent so much time, poring over this archival footage and going through these photographs. And now to be able to walk through these archives and see these actual A2 jackets, these real photographs of these men, it just, it brings it all to life in just such an incredible way. For me, I had known a little bit about the 8th, but getting to do the series and meet the people I've met in order to bring the series to life has just expanded so much of my own sense of history, my own context of World War II and what it meant for us and all of us. And I hope people who get to watch the series feel compelled to learn more about it too.
I've seen 3 episodes. I felt I was right there. It was so real and so accurate. They did such a tremendous job. But I felt that I had gone through another mission after watching it. So it was well done, and I had met the writer up in Washington when I was invited up there to the preview. And he said he'd been working on it for 10 years, and I'd been anxiously awaiting and hoping I'd be able to see it in time. So it was worthwhile. But as I say, they did a magnificent job, I think, on that movie. Very real, very realistic. The Mighty 8th, this museum is such a beautiful memorial to all of us and to those who served. And I hope that it can attract a lot of people that can learn the history of the 8th and what the sacrifices were, and give such a wonderful history of the 8th Air Force.